like that. And please say something, guys.
Hello,
Hello,
hello, hello.
Okay,
it's me.
that's audio. We got
All
audio.
right, got audio.
Hello. It's
Hello.
time for that thing we do each year, where that's a huge garden over there. Where we do the yacht stream. I am Jacob, the community manager, and I'm here with Frederick,
Hello.
artiste,
Yes.
3D artist. What's your title? Do you get to pick
Uh,
your own?
I think I'm just an artist. I do drawings and I do 3D models and a bit of rigging and a bit of animation and yeah, a little bit of everything, a little bit of painting. So yeah, I
Office
think
Elf.
I think yeah, office elf. I think like just saying it's an artist sums it up pretty well.
Mm.
And assisting you with what's going to happen for the next minutes, it's Anders, game designer.
Hello. Yes, hello.
Yeah, it's just nice to have a game designer presence when we
Mm.
talk about these things because they are such a huge part of it
Um,
together with the programmers. But the programmers are not so keen on being on stream.
no. But
So
I am also an art enjoyer, so can
I can't actually see any programs from here. Maybe there's one under a table somewhere hissing when you approach him, but
mm,
that's it.
yeah,
they do that.
So yeah, so what are we gonna see? What is let's do the zoom.
I thought what was most interesting was probably to show some of the new weapons we've been working on, and a little bit about how we get to the results. And then I think after that we can talk a bit about the season one models and how we kind of got to that and show some drawings and just talk a little bit about the process of it.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
So yeah, maybe I should just start. So first of all, it always starts with game design. It always starts with Mike or Anders who comes up with a couple ideas. So we can just start with the corrosive sludge pump, for example. So I kind of get like these. It has to be close range, has to be tank based ammo. So I get like these small notes about what it is, and then there is normally a little prototype. And, we start gathering some references, and I looked at a lot of vacuum cleaners and old super soakers and stuff like that. I found that pretty interesting. And then we did it. We did some drawings, like a sprint over a couple of days. Me, Simone, and Kerf, and then we all kind of contributed, making the drawings as how we understood it from Mike's prototypes. And then these drawings came out of that. And like Mikkel, he said earlier, when they did their stream, is once we have like these first drawings, we never really take them further than this. Then we start, modeling them and get them into the game, so we can start shooting with them and see how they fit in the viewport, to make sure they don't take too much space, or make sure that animation works properly, and we are showcasing like everything that we want to show.
Can we get a bit closer on the top one of those? Like I think the resolution is a bit low. Yeah.
Yeah, so this was one of the ones I made, kind of like a compressor with some fuel, and then the idea was that the whole front part here could just kind of compress together, and after that it would be disposable. So you would just put on a new big disposable sludge cylinder. And then Kerf, he made like these very interesting kind of like what do you call them, fire extinguishers, and Robert was really keen on that shape, so we tried to take it more in that direction. um, these were the final drawings I did, and this was the first round of weapons. So after this one, Kerf actually took over on that, and then he started modeling it all up. Let me see if I can find it. There it is. And then, the result here is different than what we have on the drawings, but it's because so much stuff happens once you start animating it and you start adding particles to it, and you actually see how it feels to walk around with. Yeah. Anders, feel free if there's anything like this was a bit before your time, I think,
Yeah,
with
I
this
mean,
one.
I can just many of these prototypes are made by Mike, and I think actually at this point last year I got my internship here, and like all the models were basically made when I stepped into the office, so to speak. So I mean, most of my work has been on like the mods, the overclocks, but I still have some insights in the vision for the weapons and stuff.
I also
And
definitely
look,
see some like Super Soak or a Nerf gun in like inspirations for some of those shapes.
yeah, definitely. And like the feeling was that it was supposed to feel very industrial and very, you know, like this is also something that could be used for, you know, just working around on the space rig, and they kind of like refitted it to be a weapon. So very much a tool, right? And then yeah, we can talk a bit about the gamma burster
That's
radiation.
the new
Wave
one. That's
cooker.
the old name, right?
Oh, old
Yeah,
name. Sorry, it is
yeah.
now
So
called the Colette
Colette
Wave
Wave
Cooker.
cooker. Yeah. So it started out actually as a radiation focused weapon, but I mean, although it still is radiation, it's not the element radiation that we have in the game. So it's heat based, basically, like a microwave.
Hmm. And same procedure. Like we started doing like three man drawing team where everyone kind of contributed with their vision of how this could look, and then you kind of put all that together and see what parts work really well and what parts could be disposed of. So I think these ones they're made by Kerf, who sits in Australia now. But he works really nice with the silhouette, and it's a very pleasant way of it's very clear what's going on. Where sometimes some of the drawings I make here is they're a little bit more rough around the edges. So like it's different ways of tackling the same problem. I'm more comfortable, you know, just doing the drawings straight away. But like working with silhouettes is also very fast and efficient. So for this weapon, the idea was because it was like a radiation gun to begin with. They called the gamma burster. So it was kind of like figuring out if it was kind of like a disc that shoots these rays, and it could be cool like if those rays were diffracted through some sort of like what do you call these lenses?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then that idea came out that we have the lenses, and why not just put your arm through it so we go full Mega Man on it. There was also talk about having some liquid, that you could actually see liquid in the radiation, but then we found out that we weren't gonna have a reload, so the liquid, you know, wasn't as clear at that point. But it's like getting these notes from Mike that it's a heat-based weapon. It has to, you know, be able to overheat. Then after that, like once we knew that there was going to be the overheat, and we kind of like this shape here where you shoot like some particle through the lens, we kind of needed to show that there was a proper heat exhaustion, and then we came up with the coils there that they could kind of like expand and then let out the heat of the gun. So this is how they turned out. It's kind of like what was it, Robert? He described it yesterday. It's kind of like a part kitchen appliance, part medical medical tool.
That's really cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, I like it. We can try to see. 'Cause like, so once we're at this state, I always like I do the model and then I send it off to Ronnie, who is our excellent animator. And once he start animating on it, like it gets super clear what works and what does not work, and then the whole iteration process starts where we have to redo things and, you know, skin it and rig it again. So this is how it looks now. And once we have the animations in there, we can also start to do the particles. So these are the particles that Jacek he's made. And at the same time, while we sit and do this, there's a programmer who makes sure that all the logic is set up with the, you know, catering to what Anders or Mike wants with the overclocks, and making sure that it all works and doesn't crash your game. So iterations is a big part. They're very complex to make these games. We're almost like, I think we're 6 or 7 people working on it sometimes at the same time. Let's move on to one of the other ones. This is some of the. I can go a little bit fast over some of the primaries, and then like go to the new weapons. I think that would be more interesting.
Yep.
These are some of the drawings that we did for the plasma carbine, and the idea was just to have a full-on automatic hardcore plasma rifle. So we just did a lot of experimentation with shapes and trying out different things. And we wanted to go for this like evil triangle pointy thing, kind of like an arrow. So again, cool silhouettes from Kerf and nice drawings here from Simone. And that then we get the note from Robert. He said, it's kind of nice with this, like the art director Robert's kind of nice with this little thing here in the front. Maybe we can put that up in there. And then Mike has some notes about how we communicate the overcharge. Sorry, the heat-based thing. And then we have some of the like this is how they look. And here you actually see like that rough model of how it looks in the beginning before we start putting on all the materials.
Someone is asking, how long does it take you to make like a drawing of a gun?
Depends on how fresh I am with drawing. There's periods where I work a lot in 3D and then I don't get as much time to draw. But if I draw a lot, I can probably do like a couple of these a day, like full sheets, maybe 3 if I'm fast.
So for full sheets, that's like 3 pages or three of those.
Yeah, like 3 pages. Like this is a page, yeah, something like that. But it's also like, I don't know, it's like these ones are super fast. You can also see the lines are very, very, not as clean as they could be. But it communicates what it's supposed to communicate. So I think these 3 I did in a day. Yeah.
Okay.
But there's also a lot of thoughts going into it. So and that's also, it's not just doing the drawing, it's also coming up with the thing that takes a long time, right? Goodbye, Mikkel. And we got the crossbow. The
Shanka Bolt Shark.
then the
Yeah.
Shanka Bull Shark, the favorite. I don't
Yeah,
know if it's a
favorite.
how.
I think it's Alpha's favorite, I would say.
Yeah.
But it's a close race.
Mhm. And again, we get like all these scribbles and like all these ideas, and I think maybe Anders, you can talk about, because this is some of the new weapons, and we did them a little bit different because we started with the overclocks.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, on the first primaries, we worked on. Well, I mean, I was working on overclocks and making the prototypes, and it quickly got out of hand because we made the weapons first, and all of a sudden it had to do a lot of extra things. And this time around, we just said that it's gonna do all these crazy things, and we make all the functionality and all the prototypes for the overclocks, and then we kind of like reverse engineer it from there. So that's how we did it this time around. It's probably an effective process, but it's also resulted in more interesting mod choices. So really excited to show you more of that later.
Yeah, definitely. And it's also just a different, because like before, how we did the weapons, like the first the primaries was kind of like you and Mike coming up with the ideas, and us 3D artists doing like the models, and then the programmers would come in at the end and make sure that everything just worked. But this time around, we got the programmers in right away, which I think is super efficient, because then we can faster iterate on it.
Yeah, we had so many bugs in season 1 weapons because we were using blueprints and all kinds of like code everywhere, and now like the programmers could structure it correctly and use C++ and everything. So it's been more smooth.
Yeah. Here's actually a pretty good example. This is one of the early crossbow models, and here you can see at the front part it can only fit 1 arrow. And then one day Mike came in and said that it was supposed to shoot 3 arrows, and then all of a sudden you have to like redo your design to cater what the gameplay wants. So I opened it up a lot more here in the front to make sure that we have been able to put 3 arrows in it. Yeah.
Good stuff.
And here we also have we also tried where we have 5 arrows.
Can we do more?
More arrows.
Yeah.
See how easy it is to scale.
Let's go. Game development. Yeah.
But I mean, I would also say like at this point where even though we laugh and stuff, like this is a super valuable thing for me also as game designer. If I see people think it's a cool idea, like then let's explore it. So it's always nice to be surprised like that.
Definitely, and it is a dance. That's also why I thought it was really good to have Anders in here with the art talk, because it is such a back and forth. Like it's
Yeah.
a collaboration to make sure that everything is. And like we are 6 and 7 people working on all these weapons. It's not just
Yeah.
me and Anders. It's also Simone and Jacek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The programmers, even Johan, also came with overclock ideas for the call gun that I liked. So, I mean, there's a lot of different ideas that go into this, right?
And these are some of the new arrows.
Yes.
How
And
they
these
look.
are arrows that are going in.
Yeah.
What they do is secret for now.
That can people they can speculate about that, and it's very interesting to see what they
The
what they
yellow
figure
one
out.
looks a bit like the driller, so I guess it just
Yeah, shoot at
It-
the driller. A
it
small
evolves
shoots-
driller.
into the driller.
It
What is my
shoots out
purpose?
a mini driller. Yes, exactly.
Dwarf
What is my
toss.
purpose?
Yeah. You drill.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's another thing. Like once we do that, like once we set up the weapons, it's actually also nice to see how are the weapons actually looking on the dwarves. Here we see you have a bit of intersection with the beard, but I think it's okay. But the armors can also sometimes be rather bulky, so being able to actually see it as fast as possible in game, so we get it out of that, um, how can you say, it's like that fluffy state where it's just a drawing and an idea. Get it concrete as fast as possible will eliminate like 90% of the errors that can arise. So that's also one of the good things with working super efficient and fast. Getting it into the engine. So that was that one, and we have the laser guided rocket system. Some of the drawings for that. That was also the idea. That was just like this huge thing that you just take where you pull the entire battery off and replace it again. I really like that idea. But we do it so many times, and I think it was this one that Kathy did that Robert was no, it was this one that Robert really liked, where you can actually see the rockets being fed into the barrels, kind of like with this mechanism. So I think it was Kerf, Ronnie, and Tobias worked on that to make sure that entire thing was set up. It's really complicated system
Yeah.
to set it up, but it looks really, really cool, and it turned out really nice. I think.
Oh, I think I
Oh, I
lost.
think you went out,
Yeah,
Falk.
we lost you.
We lost you, Falk. Where are you?
Rip.
Okay.
Is he still at his desk?
Yeah, I can see his hands.
Alright.
Oh well, should we take some questions? No, while we wait.
Not for Frederick, that's for sure. But
Okay.
yeah. So how about that still image, eh? Hey, that's you know what we could do? We could
I think I'm back.
Wow.
we could show the.
Hello?
I'll just show the. Yeah, we can hear you. I'll just show the Colette Wave Cooker teaser again. And,
Oh, but I'm here now. I don't
okay,
know if
never
I'm.
mind. You don't get the teaser.
Unless you want the teaser, like.
You can't handle the teaser.
All right, I just restarted Discord. I don't know what was up. Anyways, here you can see like these are some of the first early blockouts of the new weapons, right? And you see how much it actually evolved from this, like compared to how the final gun looks here. And that is just like iteration doing its thing.
So cool.
Yeah, turned out super nice. And that's Calf in Australia that makes this that made this one. The same guy who made the sludge pump.
Mhm.
I made the lock-on rifle and I made the plasma carbine. Together with, of course, the programming team, Johan and Jens Miel and all the other guys. The coil gun. I think this was one of the ones that you were making a lot on, wasn't it, Anders?
I mean, yes. I mean, for all of the primaries except for the plasma carbine, I actually made all the mods, and most of the overclocks. So I'm kind of intimate with the different ways you build it and stuff.
Yeah.
And of course, with Mike's support, like actually making them work. So yeah.
So here the coil gun, we wanted to do something where we could also communicate this overheat thing, and then having each coil inside, like inside the barrel, kind of like move up and go red hot, and then there would also be like a visual indicator that okay, now it's about to shoot. Now it's at that perfect state where you will have maximum damage. And that one also went through some iterations. You know, here in the beginning, kind of imagine that you have this little thing here in the back that you're supposed to pull back, kind of like that gun that shoots with the suction cups, or whatever they're called. Yeah, and then that like didn't really feel right. And then we also needed some way of reloading it. So what we did instead was we added some wings to the side to communicate that it's kind of like it gets that slingshot vibe, and then what you put inside it is kind of like a levitating ball of destruction that can go through environments.
Yes.
Can I show the gunsling?
Sure.
I'm not gonna
Gunsling.
stop you.
I mean, I've already seen how it works, so be
I
like,
think the gunsling is super cool. That
what
was,
they want.
and that's cool guy Ronnie doing his magic. So here we have the gun. Whoop, 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 whoop.
I love that
And what you
trail.
can see there is a trail that damages enemies as well. So not only does it hit stuff, it also leaves stuff.
It's a trail of superheated whatever.
Yes.
Nice. Nice, nice.
Yeah. So that was what happened with this gun. And it's like you only have, how many seconds was it to reload? I think it's like he has maybe a second. 2 seconds. And that's also like, you gotta give credit to Ronnie for being able to
Yeah.
communicate that this thing is gonna like pop out, and then he puts a thing on that's levitating and then back in again in 2 seconds. That's pretty
Yeah.
hardcore.
Do you have the reload mod on it, or?
I don't. Yeah, maybe. I don't
Okay.
know. Should I check?
Nah.
All
It's
right.
fine.
All right.
Yeah, I guess there's a lot of like a lot of communication, right? Because I think with some of the other like the old new primaries, we had to change some of the reloads because they were like too slow for what we wanted with them. So the entire reload animation changed. I think.
Yeah. I can't hear anything he says.
What?
Okay, but yeah, I mean, most common request from Ronnie is to make the reload time longer, and I think we did on the micro missile launcher where we gave it an extra 0.5 seconds or something. So I mean, it's always like, yeah. I often sit and tweak the mods and balance and stuff before Ronnie gets like the weapon in hand and has to make the animation. So there's a lot of compromise sometimes. Like sometimes he has no time to make an animation. Sometimes like we always focus on the gameplay and the game design, like making guns feel fun to play, and then try to find leeway where it makes sense.
Yeah, I definitely
But I
heard
think,
some heavy sighs from him with some
hey,
changes
yeah,
once in a while. Once he's actually done the thing, and then he has to redo it.
yeah, it was mostly on the crossbow this time around because it was fast. Like it was at a good place in the beginning, and then we kind of made it a bit slower. I think by 1 second to make it work, because I had to do a lot of stuff. I mean, there was a lot of different weird things that the crossbow did when it reloaded, and we had to make it faster to make it feel good. So that's kind of like a compromise we had to do.
Yeah, I think in the beginning we also had that he takes his arm in front of the crossbow, and then he pulls the
Pulled
whole
it
thing
back.
back.
Yeah.
And it was really cool. But if you've done that 150 times and you're
Mm.
gonna see that big hand in your face every time, it's just
Yeah.
it's not gonna feel good, and it's
Yeah. So now it's
slow.
automatic.
Yeah, because of sci-fi magic.
Yes.
That's
Uh,
good enough explanation, I think.
Yes. And then I just want to show some of the drawings for the auto aim. So this was some of the ones that's kind of like these guns that can shoot around corners.
Yeah, that's the smart rifle, right?
That's the smart rifle.
Shoot,
Exactly.
shoot around corners. That's
That was kind of like the
guns.
brief. Something tactical, and then I started making them tactical. I actually looked into like gimbal cameras, so it's kind of
Oh
like
yeah.
imagine you just held this, and then the whole thing will just move in all directions, kind of like a turret, a handheld turret.
Chickens do that too.
Yeah, it's yes. And then yeah, you could also do it where it's like this webcam that kind of moves around, and you can kind of see on these in these first drawings that like all these together end up being the the final result, which we have there. And like these are some of the drawings. Once we knew what direction to take it in, it's kind of like I think Robert he told me there was kind of like do an Egon Spengler gun, you know, the Ghostbusters dude. So I just started putting out a lot of wires and light bulbs and intricate little details on it. And I think it was this one B that we settled on in the end.
Does it have the light bulb still?
No, I removed the light bulb, but I thought it was pretty cool. Here you can also see this was also a little bit of a like all the guns are different because it also becomes an exercise of how to communicate everything properly, and they're all communicating different things. So here you can see like these are all the I don't know if the quality is really bad, but here you can see like different variations of how to place the actual gear on it. Some of them are very intricate, and I think we settled on this one in the end, if I remember correctly. And with this rifle, I made a simple rifle, like a stripped down version where it's just like an AR-15, something like that. It's just a normal carbine rifle, and then I just stuck a lot of gear on it, like how a carbine rifle would look in this fantasy. Yeah, here you see the stripped down carbine, and the final result, as we know. And once all this is done, then we start doing all the frameworks for them. So these are the frameworks for that one, and that entire process is just a whole other beast, and that's also what's happening at the same time while we're doing this. Again, more people involved in making the weapons.
I hope this really sheds a light onto like what it would take for us to add a new class with new primaries and everything,
Yeah.
because the new skins and stuff would just
It's a huge work,
Yeah.
and
Piles up.
it's a lot of work for artists, but it's also just a hell of a lot of balancing for Anders and and Mike.
I have a new class, yeah.
Yeah, and it's also 6 new weapons, and like you can see
Yeah.
how fast we are with making the weapons now. Like, and we're going like we're moving super fast on it right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I also think like this time around the weapons are gonna be like I mean they're all like have some unique mechanics to them, like the lock-on rifle had and the micro missile launcher had.
Mhm.
And I think like this time around we've been more like cranked the creativity to 11. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited for
We're going all in.
uh
So that's what I have to show with the weapons, and I thought we could maybe look a bit at the some of the models from. Unless there's any questions, Jakob.
yeah, maybe we can take some questions.
there's always questions.
Yeah,
Maybe while
fire
we
away.
wait for those, maybe
Yeah.
Anders could talk a bit about like like the reasons why did we pick like the Colette Wave Cooker for the driller? Why him? Why the coil for the gunner?
I actually, honestly, I don't know because that Mike was making those.
Damn Mike and his secrets.
But I mean there is like an Excel sheet that I peeked at where like there's a lot of weapons and there's always like different pros and cons, and I think it's less about okay, it would be cool that that the the driller has like a microwave gun, but more like what role are we trying to like fill with this weapon? So that's where it starts. That's all I know, at least. So I mean, I can maybe I mean for the driller we wanted something that was like more area focused, which will be what it is. So it's not going to be a single target kind of weapon. The single target weapon will be the Subata, which will be the best against single targets, and this will kind of like fill in the role of like area impact. And for the gunner, it was kind of hard. Like I know making a good gunner secondary suggestion. So this one will fall in between like the revolver is pretty like single target and the
BRT.
BRT. Yeah, that's very burst fire heavy. So this is like one shot, very powerful, goes through anything. It's kind of like radial damage, so it's good against armored enemies. So at least that's what I've understood Mike's approach to making these weapons is like what role will they fill for the different classes. So kind of like to fill in a space that's not yet explored.
All right.
Yeah, I think the brief I also got from this one, which I really liked, was it's a death flashlight.
Yeah.
Which I thought was
Yeah.
a pretty accurate description.
I'm still secretly hoping for it to go like ding once it cooks something, but
I mean, we talked about a lot of fun stuff like it, that it could shrink enemies and make swarmers into popcorn and all that stuff.
Oh,
But I mean, most of it's kind of like, no, that's too crazy and stuff. Some of it
now
can
you're
be
saying
done.
most of it, so some of it is actually.
No, but the thing would maybe something that could be
yeah.
put in. We don't know, but I mean, it could be fun to explore those kind of like gimmicky stuff because it's always like with the drill, it's stuff that's hacked together with whatever he like can get his hands on. Kind of like the sludge pump. It's kind of like whatever the hell is in there.
Yeah.
very
You start out of
industrial
like a
Good theme.
industrial cement mixer.
tool.
So yeah,
Yeah.
super fun to explore that.
It's also, it looked like this at some point, the radiation gun was one
Yeah.
of the first ones done by Cav,
Yeah.
which is really, really cool, but also gets probably a bit too bulky compared to how it turned out
Reminds
now.
me a bit
What-
of the cryo cannon, like the shape. It's more like
Yeah.
I really like the new, more skeleton-ish, or the framework. It's
Yeah.
just like
But it was also like there was an issue where it would cover Driller's hand while he has his drills on. It was like I think there were some issues there. But it was also back then when actually it was not heat based, it was ammo based, where you could reload and had clip and everything, and it was they dealt radiation damage. But we kind of like shifted away from that, so it became like heat based to put a damper on the DPS a bit, and then it was like made into heat. But this is kind of like a driller's weapon where you can like point at a thing and shoot it, no matter the distance, almost. So it's a very high precision weapon as well.
Yeah, definitely. His other weapons are a little bit more. It's like a flamethrower and a sludge pump. He has the pistol though.
That's a pistol, yeah.
He has the pistol. That's true.
And that's a super fun weapon as well.
I can't wait until I can cook a loot bug from like across a cave. That's just gonna be amazing.
Oh, just wait till you see that last weapon we're working on. But we can't really tease anything with that now.
Not today, no, not today.
I think
Not
it's gonna be really
today.
sick.
2
Gonna be really
weeks.
sick.
2
2
weeks.
weeks. Okay,
2 weeks.
that's it. And we'll have a cool teaser for everyone.
Yeah.
Out of ammo,
Yeah.
popcorn ding. Someone says, yeah, that's
Yeah.
that could be a good idea.
And there's somebody who asked if there was an OC that turns it into radiation damage, and there is. So we kind of like want to use that OC to come back to its original thing.
I see the
But with
secrets
a
are
few
loose on you today, Anders.
Yeah, but it's okay. We were allowed to talk about some of the OCs.
Someone's gonna tap you on the shoulder in a bit.
Yeah, but I will say that we're not sure if it will make it in. It's still very early in the process. So there's a lot of different things.
Also, I'm not the secret police, so just go nuts. Spill it. Do it for the views.
Yeah.
Should we go and look at some of the season 1 things?
Yeah,
Yes,
let's do that.
Unless
all
you
more
can
secrets
just
are revealed.
Can we cook them? Will it
before
blend?
Anders just start talking too much. Yeah, so here it is, the old caretaker. And Anders, we actually worked together on the Prospector.
Yes.
So what's going on here is the animation of it
being scared,
freaking out and running away.
Getting Zoidberg vibes.
And we get all the shredders here doing their thing. It's just the different animations. I'm just gonna turn this off because it's actually really loud in my ear. And here we also have all the different like events. These are, what is that one called, Anders?
Data deposit.
Data deposit, yeah.
Well, the idea was that the prospector it fit to this, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I modeled it so you can take the prospector. I don't think we ever actually got time to set it up. Maybe we should do
No,
that
I
at
mean
some
it's
point.
not something. It's something that's kind of like was implied, but basically it's related to the
It's a
prospector and
charging
what.
dock.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's something that happens once it's done exploring. It goes there, and then it deposits the data, and then the data deposit will send in the information to wherever it needs to go.
It will go like beep up, beep up,
I
and
don't
then
think
when it's done,
anyone
it will
had
fire up.
any idea this would be. The chat is just mind blown.
Yeah, but it's weird. I made like these things underneath that everything fits. So the large ones is kind of like where they can fit with the
So
Right.
thrusters.
is it like USB-C or is it what the?
It's a very
It's a
complicated
new
machine.
tech. It's a new tech.
And then all the arms would go in there in each one
Yeah.
of these. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
but it,
the intention.
I did not
yeah,
know
but it was.
this. I did not know this.
I don't know,
That's
but it wasn't intended to
pretty
go in
neat,
there.
right?
It's just like. But these
Wow,
two things are related, basically.
Yeah.
that's a world premiere right there.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's why we do this.
They're hugging.
Yeah, exactly. And then it would kind of make a little
Censor it
cool
now.
pyramid-like
Censor
shape, and then that
Mm.
would kind of go really well with the caretaker having the shape he has.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I can show a bit of the drawings we do
Yes.
for that.
Yeah.
So like these are some of the. Oh man, this
So
mission has been.
that's basically where baby prospectors come from.
Mm. No, you fell out. Like
Oh, fuck,
again.
goddammit. How can we be at the same? It's because we're routing it over Discord.
Maybe, but
But why are we
I
not
think
losing connection?
I don't know. But what we see here is sort of like all the sketches for the facility related things, I guess season related things. But it was mostly I see things for the facility. And then the things we did for the season events were based heavily on that rival tech. Oh, no.
And he's out.
Hello. Yeah,
Hello.
super
So
annoying.
every time
I
you
don't
come
know.
back, the video just drops completely. That's
Okay, but I'm back now. So this was one of the missions when we worked on the heavy extraction. No, sorry, it's not called that anymore. It's called the
sabotage.
no, the one where you
Refinery.
build refinery
Refinery,
mission. Yeah, and then we have the what is this with the Doretta? What do
Escort.
we call it?
Escort,
Escort. Yeah. Then we also
Chat,
worked on the
there's a
third.
lot of like names inside that internal names that are never used or
Yeah,
never make it.
no, it's just work in progress stuff. It's just
Yeah.
so when we talk internally, it's all right. The drilling
Oh
bomb
yeah,
guy.
yeah.
Yeah,
Facilities industrial sabotage. I mean, sometimes it's really hard to find things in the editor because we change the name so often.
yeah.
Yeah.
Naming
Spider grunt.
convention.
Call it
Yeah.
base, whatever. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a nightmare.
The programmers love it.
Yeah.
So these was like the early drawings for the roller drones, right? They were
Yeah.
supposed to be something like this, and
They're
they turned out
patrol bots now, right?
they
Or
are
are
patrol bots now,
yeah.
and they look like this.
Mm,
And this just goes to show how fast things they can change in
yeah.
in game development, and how something might look cool on paper, and then once you start playing around with it, it's just it doesn't work, and then it just
Yeah.
changes into something else completely.
Still remember
Yeah.
France
Droidic
disc
has.
with us.
Oh yeah, there was a disc version too. Yeah.
There's a disc.
Here's this little guy. It's
Actually,
a
yeah.
drawing by Robert. It's very cool. Our art
Shout out.
director, and of course he has RGB in the
And fans on the back.
and fans.
GB
Yes, that's true on the vital model.
Uh,
It's really neat.
Junk food coming out of the pod and everything else. Amazing.
Yeah. And these are some of the drawings done by Jacek, the art
Yeah.
lead here.
Yeah, that's actually pretty interesting because the facility back in the day had like, I guess, turret the dispenser towers.
Mm-hmm.
So like there would be like 4 towers that shut out all kinds of turret stuff. But that was like too complicated. So
Yeah.
they made it into the tunnels themselves, I think.
Yeah, we made some of these, like Jacek made these models, and they actually really
Mhm.
neat, kind of like set off the direction for everything else.
Yeah.
And we also decided, like Mikkel and Robert wanted the framework to be kind of inspired by the facility, the rival tech. These are some of the drawings. You can see some of the things that Jacek established with these lines. I tried to incorporate that in these drawings when I made them. And like here, they're very like a whole solid thing, and we wanted to do something that was a little bit more, put together. So you still have the old gun underneath. You can still see the assault rifle, but then we stick these things on. That was the fancy that they kind of found this technology that they would then put onto their own weapons, the dwarves.
Yeah, it's cool.
And for the caretaker, this was the model that was in the game. So I just wanted to fight a big reverse pyramid,
Damn.
and Robert made this drawing here, and then it's kind of like this was how it looked in the beginning.
Yeah, wasn't it also just energy at some point? Just like
A
didn't
big,
have a solid shape in the beginning where it was just like energy with some pieces in there and just
oh,
twisting stuff like.
I don't. I actually got on this a bit late in the process,
I
so
think
the
if you try
guys
to
had
go
already
up,
been.
try to go up a bit and yeah, here. So try to zoom in on that picture, right? So it looked like this in the beginning. It was kind of like this energy thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, right, and then you had to go
Yeah,
around and change all the generators. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, and then like once we knew there was a big reverse pyramid, it's just like coming up with a bunch of drawings to kind of communicate what it is that is to be communicated. Like all these shields here were to like to give it a bit of aggression. When it gets angry, every part can kind of move out. Like here's some early exploration of that. Pissed off. And then like making different shapes for the eyes to kind of like Robert wanted something that was really like a cold robot, something that was cold and calculated, and he thought some of these got a little bit too much personality. So when I made this drawing here, they were kind of sold on that, Mikkel and Robert, that this one felt it has a personality, but it's not a very nice one, if that makes sense. Kind of like it has that cold vibe to it, and it's also a very clear shape for the eye, which is also the weak point on the thing, on the caretaker. So it's also important that that looked right and felt right.
So how did you arrive at like the whole when you defeat it? It just falls over, and then this large vault opens, and this tiny thing pops up, and that's what you get. That whole over engineering thing. What how that came into to reality?
I the death animation, I think in the beginning we wanted something that was very like in Akira when Tokyo gets blown up, something like that, like huge like explosion. But then Mikkel found it hilarious that the robot just kind of like fell down on the vault and died there, and
It's
then
true.
everyone is just like but it actually looked really like it worked really well
Yeah.
once it's made, and then everyone just kind of loved it.
Yeah, and
So
I
it
like how
stayed
it
like
just
that.
then opens up, and then there's this tiny thing you have to get. So you like big USB stick or something like that inside this.
Yeah, actually, we talked about having it even smaller, but then it like now it's just a bunch of what do you call these, Anders? The data.
it's a data rack.
This
Or
is a data
what?
rack, and then we
Yeah,
have the small ones,
the data
these
cell.
Data
data
cells, yeah.
cell. Exactly. In the
Have a lot of
beginning, it was
those.
just like a little small one, but then it wouldn't really make sense because when you kill the prospector, you get a data cell that's on a rack, and then when you defeat the prospector, no, sorry, the caretaker, then you get the full rack, and the full rack has to also have a certain size because you have to have how many of them
Yeah, and you could
on.
basically lose it. You could drop
Yeah,
it somewhere and not be
you
able
could
to
drop
find it. Yeah.
exactly, and we
That
did
already
this.
happened.
And we did the same as we did with the Omoran. We also made a strap for it, so it will stay close to Molly as you evacuate the mine.
Really secure. I really like that.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I put it three of them around. Nothing less could do it. Yeah, and I also think it's super cool. It's a nice way of communicating. How the dwarves they they work is it doesn't look like the safest way of transport for something as valuable as that.
Gotta work with what you have.
Yeah, this was actually like some of these, which actually looked more like a bomb, and they also were turned into the bombs that the
I think so.
caretakers
Yeah.
use at
The
you. But they
face
were
bombs, yeah.
actually that was how that was how the data cells were gonna look in the beginning. And then we scrapped it because we wanted something that was a bit more. Yeah, why did we scratch that, Anders?
Yeah,
Can't
that's a good
remember it.
question. I think it's because we were on vacation and we just took a decision of like we want to do this, and
Yeah,
then Robert came in and like that's not how we want it, and then we made it. I think we did this over and over for
yeah, we
a
did it
couple
many
times,
times. Yeah.
so it was an iterative process. Let's just call it that.
Yeah, no, but it's also important because it is such a large part
Yeah,
of the season system that you get these performance points. So it
yeah,
also had to make sense and have to be
yeah.
thought through. Not entirely sure how we landed on the. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I think it was because we wanted it to be able to stack. This one couldn't
Mm,
stack. That's why we made it
okay.
a square. Yes, now I
Yeah, but
remember.
in the beginning, it was also like the prospector would fly around and you'd shoot it down, or it's kind of like the goo bomber would fall to the ground and you'd hack it to get the
Hmm.
thing. But then it kind of like evolved into, well, what if you destroy it and then nothing happened, right? So you basically fail, and it felt really bad. So that's why something came out that you could deposit.
Yeah,
So
and this is our little Bebe who spent so much
yeah,
time on making it.
yeah,
Also
yeah,
with Johan, and we
yeah,
animated the tentacles, and
super fun.
has a lot of personality, which is
Yeah,
really nice. I think it's
yeah.
the
So
only robot that actually is allowed to have a lot of personality of the new ones.
yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it was like me just making a prototype, but I thought it would be cool that it just actually went around and scanned stuff, so it would
Hmm.
detect even dwarfs and go to them and scan them and then move on. And yeah, it has a lot of small like mechanics as well. So the longer it's in the stage, the more goods and dirt will fall out of it and stuff. So there's small minor things that maybe don't make sense in the bigger picture, but it gives it some more life, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, and these are some of the early drawings. Like you really wanted something with tentacles. I remember. It's like, I wanted to have tentacles. Like, all right, yeah, we'll make some tentacles.
Yeah, and it kind of like drags them along the ground right now.
Yeah, it got
And
it's
that's super
getting.
fun.
Yeah, it's kind of like this droopy robot that's
Yeah,
a bit tired and just
yeah. But we really
chilling
like
around.
the idea of having like a small pickaxe and stuff, and it could be like have different
Yeah,
tools and do stuff.
it's kind of like
Kind
a
of,
custodian, librarian type
yeah,
robot.
yeah,
These are some of the hacking devices, like drawings for that early ones. You were supposed to throw a hacking device on the thing
yeah.
like a grenade, and then you had another tool that could then hack it. But then it was just so much simpler that they just had a tablet, and then you have the mini game there, and then that does
Mm,
the whole thing instead of over engineering it with
yeah.
expandable robot grenades. Yeah, these were also how the data cores they looked in the beginning.
Mm.
Some of the drawings. Yeah, here you
And what
see
was
it.
it? The rock, was that what it's called?
That's the that was the that was the reference that I got.
Yeah,
All the founders in here, they are all very big action movie fans. It's always like there's always these old references to like I like The Rock, yeah, like
uh,
aliens, yeah, which is cool. But but sometimes it's also I don't know. It's fine.
Those were
I like
bombs in that movie, right? Yeah.
yeah, exactly. It's a balance, right? Because you also don't want to get too heavy on the 80s references and the
mm,
90s references, but it is also like I like The Rock. It's a cool film. Yeah, more drawings for the course. Again, like super fast. You can see how wobbly the line is, but it communicates what it's supposed to communicate. So like also I heard like on the stream earlier regarding the art book, like this is the kind of stuff that would be in the art book. So it wouldn't be like super impressive finished cool drawings like you see from like bigger games. But I mean we just don't work like that in here.
That's the quote we would add next to that picture.
fast and
Yeah.
efficient. No, like, but
lamer.
But it really, I mean, it's for like establishing a look. I think that's super effective considering like the
Mhm,
end result at the end.
mhm. Yeah, and it's just getting to that point really fast. Oh yeah, this is actually pretty cool. It's like some of the like these old medieval armors. I thought it could be cool if they kind of like if the other tech looked like that, because in the beginning they kind of looked like Mac computers because they were all white.
Mm.
But then when we made this this combination of gold and black, it just turned a lot more sleek. And actually, if you look really close to it, it also has really nice, textures.
I love it.
Yeah, it's really nice. Kind of like a very expensive couch.
There's a lot of people that are like asking for art books, and like it was mentioned earlier in the
Yeah,
previous part of the stream, we didn't have like this much concept art at the beginning. I think it's something that's really uh, that's become a lot more of that, like the whole process, the whole design around that. It's become more apparent after you arrived, Frederick, and Simone too. And I think that's part of the reason why we don't really have that concept art history going all the way back from the beginning. But we're beginning to have a lot from these later updates. So I think that's something at least.
yeah,
I hope we can do something
definitely.
someday.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a communication thing, right? Because if you're a small company and you're not a lot of guys working on something, you don't need to make a whole lot of drawings. If there's just one artist, then he can figure it out pretty fast. But once you're multiple artists and maybe I make the drawings, but then might not be the one who model them, then it's just faster and easier to make sure that we know how things look as we go along, because we all kind of have to align our vision together, and a drawing is just so much faster than working in 3D. So I think it's natural that when a company starts growing, then we start having more art because we are more people who need to communicate faster. Yeah. Yeah, I think
Super
that's
cool.
pretty much like an hour here, but
Yeah, I think that's also what we more or less
what
have
we
time
set off
for.
to. Yeah,
So that's super
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Let's see if we can spot any secrets in the background.
I don't. I think I removed all the
All the
secrets.
secrets.
I think I removed them.
Uh,
Yeah, no, I have taken them away, so you
okay.
can't find
So
anything
that
new.
was the secret area over there, right? Okay. So behind that
Whatever.
wall, there's something. Oh,
I
what
don't
was
know.
that? No, that's.
Whoa. Oh.
Uh,
So when you
All
said
oh
right.
we
no!
removed them, you just like shifted them like 100 meters to the right, and then that's it.
You have to remember that sometimes I just sit around in the editor here and I put things together, which no one actually told me
Yeah.
to do. So it's
Yeah.
nothing is guaranteed. It's also
It's a
just
playground.
this is my free space where I can do whatever I want. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to regulate it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I don't know if there's any more questions, like
Yeah, any
or if we got around on all the topics.
If there is, I don't think we have time for them. I think we need to prepare
Okay.
for the mod stream. But
All right.
super
Cool.
super
Yeah.
presentation like last year.
Thank you.
Definitely setting up expectations for next year, Frederick.
Oh, that's good. It's an absolute pleasure, and I like doing it. And it's just cool to show everyone what it is that we're working on. We're very excited. I'm very excited about these new weapons, and I think the new one in 2 weeks that's gonna be teased. I think everyone
Yeah.
is gonna lose their mind.
Yeah. We
But
love it when we see your reactions to the teasers.
yeah, it's the best
Very
part
exciting.
of what we do. I
Uh,
think is when we tease and people, and you just see the chat go nuts. It's super satisfying.
yeah.
Very, very satisfying.
All right, thank you, Frederick and Anders. We'll just, I
Yeah.
think I'll show the new teaser from today once more, and
Great.
then we'll slowly shift to the mod showcase in about 5 minutes.
Cool.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Goodbye.